The Spanish Empire at one point was the richest in the world, thanks to the gold and silver pouring in from the Americas. But here, as what you didn't know, that very treasure became the poison that caused its failure. It wasn't a lack of money, it was a failure to manage it. In this video, we reveal 3 financial lessons from the Spanish Empire so you can learn how to manage your wealth, avoid making the same mistakes, and build your own financial empire. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Axel Grand, a digital and financial strategist. On this channel, I teach you timeless wisdom from the ancient world that can help you generate lasting wealth. So, hit that subscribe button for more money and history lessons. 1. The destructive effect of sudden wealth, the inflation trap. Starting in the 16th century, the Spanish Empire became the world's biggest superpower, not just through military might, but because of the immense amount of gold and silver extracted from its American colonies, like Potosi. But what seemed like an endless blessing turned into a poison. The massive influx of precious metals into the European market, transported year after year in the legendary Spanish treasure fleets, triggered what historians call the price revolution. Essentially, gold and silver became more abundant, but the supply of goods and services didn't increase at the same pace. The economy was flooded with metal, causing its intrinsic value to plummet. This led to uncontrolled inflation that made the price of food, clothing, and other basic necessities skyrocket. The purchasing power of common people crashed, and over time, this economic instability contributed to the empire's downfall. The gold and silver weren't used to develop Spain's own industry or agriculture. Instead, they were mainly used to finance costly wars and maintain a lifestyle the empire could no longer sustain. While Spanish galleons carried treasure, that wealth actually flowed to other European countries that did produce goods, like England and Flanders, enriching Spain's rivals instead of strengthening itself. The abundance of cash, instead of being a foundation for prosperity, became a trap that weakened the domestic economy and left it vulnerable. From this, we learn that easy money or sudden wealth without a clear strategy can be more harmful than beneficial. Money doesn't fix poor management, it only amplifies mistakes. Today, we see this in many people who win the lottery or receive an unexpected inheritance. A study by the National Financial Educators Council found that 70% of lottery winners end up bankrupt within a few years. Why? Because like the Spanish Empire, they lacked a plan to manage their new wealth. They spend without control, invest poorly, and don't understand that this money, while it seems infinite, is not. If you're not going to let wealth slip through your hands without a strategy, like what happened to Spain, then subscribe to the channel. 2. The price of inefficiency. Bureaucracy kills growth. To manage its vast empire, Spain created a monumental bureaucracy, a complex network of institutions that acted as the central nervous system of its economy. The Council of the Indies in Madrid made the laws, and the House of Trade in Seville controlled every ship, every commodity, and every ounce of silver entering or leaving the Americas. This complex administrative network, with its thousands of officials, allowed Spain to maintain control and accumulate wealth. However, over time, this system became so slow, rigid, and riddled with corruption that it suffocated innovation, slowed the pace of trade, and paralyzed decision-making, contributing to the empire's economic decline. Information took months to cross the ocean, and every decision required a labyrinth of permits, stamps, and signatures, creating bottlenecks that stifled the flow of goods and private initiative. The system was designed for control, not for growth. Good financial management is vital, but an overly complex system is counterproductive. Your own personal finance system, even if it doesn't manage an empire, can also fall into the trap of bureaucracy. While keeping track of your income and expenses is necessary, the obsession with detail can make your system unsustainable. Think of the contrast. Efficient management, a simple budgeting system that allows you to automate savings, divide your expenses into a few broad categories, and review your progress once a month. It is like a clear roadmap that lets you reach your destination without getting lost in every side street. Personal financial bureaucracy, an endless spreadsheet where you track every coffee, every piece of gum, and every tip. Micromanaging every penny consumes so much time and energy that you get frustrated and abandon the habit altogether. You become a slave to your own system, instead of your system being a tool for your financial freedom. This often leads to incomplete tracking or simply giving up the idea of measuring your expenses due to the effort involved. 3. The cost of not diversifying, the single point of failure. The Spanish Empire became addicted to the silver from the American mines. The imperial economy, the military and trade became dangerously dependent on the convoys crossing the Atlantic loaded with metal. It was the lifeblood feeding a gigantic body, but it was blood that wasn't produced internally. Spain neglected the development of its own industries and agriculture, believing that the money from the mines could buy everything. Why manufacture textiles when you could buy fabrics from Holland with gold? Why invest in agriculture if you could buy grain from Italy with silver? This buy, don't build mentality atrophied the domestic economy, leaving the empire a giant with feet of clay. When silver production began to drop and ships were attacked by pirates, the empire was left exposed and vulnerable. The silver flow was its only lifeline, and when that became unstable, the domino effect was devastating. The wealth vanished, but the debts and the lack of production remained, leaving Spain financially paralyzed. Relying on a single source of income or a single asset makes you extremely vulnerable. It's the same risk taken by the investor who puts all their savings into one stock, the professional who builds their career on a single skill, or the business owner who has only one major client. If that single source dries up, your entire financial well-being can collapse. True financial security is not found in a single source of wealth, but in diversification, building multiple pillars of income and assets that can sustain you even if one of them fails. A person who relies solely on their salary to cover all their expenses is in a high-risk position. If they lose their job, their entire personal economy collapses. Spain's lesson is the importance of diversification. A financially solid person has multiple income streams, such as a main job, a side business, side hustle, or passive income from investments. That way, if one source fails, the others can keep them afloat. Tell me in the comments section which of these lessons you like the most and how you plan to apply it to your personal finances. I'd love to hear your experience so we can start building a community where we help each other grow. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.